Today we are painting this adorable Christmas fox. Check her out. Oh my goodness, let's go. Hi friends, are you ready? So here we have our primary colors, blue, yellow, red. We'll also have white and black. This particular painting takes a little bit of dry time at a couple points. Feel free to pause the video, grab some hot chocolate and come back. I'm gonna start with a large flat brush. That's about a 1-inch flat brush. So we're starting with yellow here because yellow is our favorite outline. And I'm gonna go almost to the middle, and somewhere near the middle, we're gonna create like a football shape. I'm not quite closing my football shape because I am gonna kind of just whoop it out at the side, okay? So a football with some whoops. And then we're gonna go straight down on both sides, creating the body. Let's create some presents in here. So it's just some rectangular shapes. And what we're doing right now is we're creating essentially a coloring sheet that we'll fill in later. So we're creating a coloring sheet. That way this doesn't get filled in with our background, which is really dark today. So I'm just gonna throw in some rectangles. Your presents can be any shape, any size, just kind of filling in that size. Now we're gonna create 2 long, tall ears that almost reach the top. So these are rounded triangle shapes, just like that. Oh, those look great. Don't overthink them. These will all be painted over in just a minute. So now that we have the basic shapes of football, whoops, body, rectangles, ears, I'm gonna grab some black and some blue, and I'm gonna start filling in this background. And I don't want it to be solid black, so I'm gonna mix in some blue every once in a while. I think I'll even mix in a little bit of red. That'll give a kind of an undertone of purple. So filling in this whole space really nicely. And I'm just going back and forth between my blue and my black. Remember, you have 5 sides to paint on your canvas, so you can paint on either side as well. Oh my goodness, I'm really excited to see this little fox. So remember, your fox is gonna look different than my fox. My fox will also look different than the first time I did the fox or the next time I do a fox. Every time they're gonna look a little different. And we wanna appreciate the fox that's gonna come out of this painting just as much as any other fox, right? Okay, so I notice I've got a lot of blue and black. I'm just gonna pull in a tiny bit of red here. Let that mix in with my blue and black. That'll give it some purple undertones. So blue, black, and red now. That's kind of fun. I mean, really, you could bring in any color. Awesome, I love it. Okay, that was quick. I'm gonna take my brush, I'm just gonna wipe it off on a paper towel or a plate, whatever I have. And with a little bit of black on there, I'm gonna go for some white. And I should get somewhat of a gray because we're picking up that color. I'm gonna start under the fox's neck. Oh, look how pretty that is when that picks up a little bit of that gray. And then I'm gonna get some more white so that it gets whiter as it gets down, because what we were creating there is the shadow. I'm going all the way to the edge. You might pick up a little bit of color, and that's a great thing. That's why we're doing this part before it has any dry time. Just bringing it all the way across. And I'm filling in this whole space with the white. I only put white on my brush, but because it's the same brush, it has a little bit of gray on it. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my white and I'm gonna create some texture going in this direction. Because that's the direction the fur is going. So this is my second layer, and I'm doing it rather quickly. And I'm adding that texture. Remember to paint the bottom of your canvas too. Okay, let's go ahead and do the ears while we still have this beautiful gray on our brush. So picking up some white, I'm gonna do my ears. I'm gonna start on the outside, but then as I pick up a little bit of that color from the outside, then I can bring it onto the inside. And I'll do the same thing over here. Start on the outside. As I pick up a little bit of the background color, I'll bring it into the inside. And now we're just gonna fill in the face. Now we will put one more layer of white later after this layer dries. Do, 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 do. So this particular fox is a Christmas fox because we have our presents going around, but really you could use this fox with any background. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Christmas fox. It could be an Arctic fox at any time. Now I want to make sure I come over the bottom layer down here. And if you pick up any gray, don't worry about it. That's beautiful. It's going to help us with the shadows. Okay, so now we're going to let our fox dry. Let's decide what colors you want for your presents. I think I want some beautiful green presents, so I can mix, let me show you my plate. I can mix yellow with the tiniest bit of blue and create somewhat like this nice green color. And let's see, I'm gonna start with the back presents. I'll create this present green. And if I paint half the present first and then mix in a little bit either darker or lighter for a slightly different color, then watch this. It's gonna make your present three-dimensional. So half the present in one color and then the second half in a slightly either darker or lighter. Either way will work. Okay, so we have a green present. I'm gonna go for a purple present. I'm gonna mix some blue with some red. Get this nice dark blue, dark purple. And I'll create a purple present over here. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of white into that. Because remember, we can make it three-dimensional by just changing that color ever so slightly. How about that? Nice. So we have the dark and the light. We'll finish the tops later. Let's choose a few more colors. You know what? Maybe I'll take my purple over here in front of the green because we have another present right here. And I tend to not want to over mix my colors so that I can still see the variety coming through. I think that's what makes painting so fun. And now I mix in a little bit of white to make a lighter version. And then I think maybe this last present, I'm gonna make orange. So orange is red and yellow, but red is stronger than yellow. So I'm gonna start with a lot of yellow and a little bit of red. And let's see, we'll just fill that in right over the top, filling in half one color. And then I'll mix in a little bit more yellow, half the other color. Okay, I need to let my presents dry, I need to let my fox dry, and I need to let my background dry. So at this point, we're going to pause the video. Just come back when it doesn't have to be all the way dry, but just a little bit tacky, which means you can touch it without it coming off on your hand readily. Just kind of sticky, tacky. Okay, we're back, and now our painting is a little bit tacky. That means I can touch it, I can feel that it's a little wet, but it's not coming off on my fingers. Okay, I switched my brush. Now I'm using kind of a medium-sized round brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and let's start with the fox. I'm gonna start with just white, and this time, as I'm painting, I'm only covering about 60%. I'm not covering the whole thing. I'm gonna go around the edges of the ears, but I'm leaving the center of the ears. So I'm gonna go around each edge, just like this. And then I'll do the same thing on this side. And you can still see some of the initial paint underneath. It's just a quick brush stroke over top. I like to call it like kind of sketching, like a motion. Okay, now down here, I'm gonna go through the side of the chest, but I'm gonna leave the center a little bit darker. And these are a little bit longer brush strokes. And again, you can see through part of the paint. I'm not completely covering it because this is the second layer, but I'm just leaving a dark center with that initial paint. That's kind of where the shadow is. Now I'm gonna think of going away. So let's start with the nose. I'm gonna create kind of a triangle, just like this, in the center, or a V, right? Triangle, V, any of those. I'm gonna fill this in. And then this is gonna help us determine, so on either side, let's go all the way over, the whiskers all the way over. On either side, we're gonna leave it a little bit darker where the eyes are. So I'm gonna push away from it, but leave a little bit leave a little bit of space where the eyes are. So I'm making a motion, again, that quick little, the same as I did down here, those quick little brush strokes that are going away from the center, making a nice fuzzy furry fox, but leaving a little bit dark. And I want those to match. So I'm gonna try to even that up a little bit. Excellent. Going away from the center. I can kind of flick out of the edge to make it kind of the fuzzy cheeks. And now from the sides, I'm gonna kind of fill in those cheeks. But separate motion. These are those fuzzy, fuzzy cheeks. The brush strokes creates the texture of that fox, texture of their fur. So I notice when I'm doing the cheeks, I'm actually covering a little bit darker. I'm gonna leave down here. This is where I'm gonna put the nose and the mouth comes together. So now that we did this white part, let's go ahead and let's add some branches, some of those deciduous tree branches, and we're gonna just do white branches. And I'm gonna spread them out all the way around like I'm framing the fox. So I'm gonna bring them in with a line and then little tiny lines whooshing off of there. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Just like that. So I'll bring in lots of little lines and whoosh, 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 whoosh. And we'll come in towards the fox. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. We'll go ahead and do that all the way around. And I don't necessarily want both sides to look the same. I'm not trying to make them symmetrical. I actually like it if it's different. So they all have these little tiny boughs, little tiny branches of the trees, but they are slightly different. Let's do one right here. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. These brush strokes are actually very similar to what we were doing on the fox itself. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Again, stepping back. Oh, I love that. Now we're just gonna put some white dots around for snow. You can use the front of the brush like normal to make bigger dots of snow all around. Then you can also flip your brush upside down to put smaller dots. Those will create nice little small dots, very quick small dots all the way around. Oops. Okay, I'm going to bring in a few bigger ones. Notice if you created a pattern, and if you did, go ahead and break that pattern. There, I like that. I can always add more. Okay, using the same brush, I'm going to mix a tiny bit of black with white to make a gray. I want it to be a light gray, so it's more white than black. And I'm just going to go through, I'm going to add a little bit more gray underneath, using those same whooshing lines, underneath the chin. Just kind of that shadow line. Just a little bit. If it gets too dark, you can always add more white. Okay, and then using this, I'm gonna go inside the ears a little bit more. Again, this is our second layer. We're only covering up partially. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Oh, I love it. Now I'm gonna go over the eyes again. And this time, I'm gonna go over where we left kind of these smiley eyes. So I'll recreate those, so what we left behind. And then I'm gonna kind of go up a little bit, almost an eyelash effect, but really it's just making it fuzzy. Okay, I'm gonna get in front of it so I can match them as good as possible. They don't have to be identical, but we do want to make them similar. Cute. Let's see. Oh, I like that. And then let's just go underneath, just ever so slightly, outlining the nose ever so slightly. Again, we're not covering very much, just little accents. Okay, and go for black. With the black, so I do want to leave enough for a smile. So let's go ahead and do the smile first. The very, very, very bottom, in the very center, I'll just do the tiniest smile. And then I can go up on either side, kind of going up and out. You want to make it nice and smooth. And I'll do little cheek lines. And I'll do the same thing over here. Again, trying to match it. You want it to be similar on both sides. Cute. Now above that mouth, we're going to do a little tiny nose. Nice. Now at the very bottom of the eye shapes that you made, we're going to give them smiley eyes. So just low rainbows. I can leave it like this, which is adorable, or I can just flick ever so slightly and give little eyelashes. Totally up to you either way. Okay, wiping off this brush. Now I'm going to grab white again, so that means it's kind of like a gray. And I'm going to put some snow on the top of every present. I'm going to go across with white and then just let it kind of come down in different quantities. And I'm going to do that with every single present. Just like that. Nice. And over here, so I'm just going right across the top and then going down, down, down. And last but not least, over here. Now I'm just going to put a bow. The very, very last step is to just add a little bow on each one of these presents. And to do that, I'm going to wipe my brush dry and I'm just going to choose a color. So maybe this one I'll do first. I'm going to go for red and I'm going to make one loop. Now I want this white to still be wet. That way it'll blend in a little bit and make it more a little three-dimensional. So after I make a loop on each side, kind of like a sideways 8 or an infinity symbol, then I'll put a dot in the middle and then I'll swoop out. Swoop down, swoop down. Oh, I lost my dot in the middle. So maybe I'll do that last. Let me go for blue. And I still have red on my brush, so hopefully I'll get a little purple. So I'm gonna make an infinity sign, sideways. It's like a sideways 8. And then I'll go whoosh, whoosh, and then a dot in the middle. Let me mix in some yellow to that blue, and that'll make green. And I'll do a circle. Oops, that looks very brownish. I must have still had too much red on there. So any color is good here. You can choose any color you want. And then go round, round. And again, it's picking up some of the white, and that's great. And then last one, let's go back to red, but red and green are opposites. So I really need to brush off that red, or excuse me, brush off that green. So I'll go around and around. Ah, I love him. Okay, have fun, friends. I would love to see yours. If you enjoyed making this video, push like, push subscribe, tell me in the comments. You can share your example. I want to see how yours turn out. I would love to share those. And thank you so much for painting with us today. Thanks.